Well, good evening, my friends. You may or may not hear the sound of wind in the background and the crackling of freezing rain falling all around me. The whole nation right now of the US is basically under this rare, extreme cold spell. I know people down south and in Florida aren't used to it, but up here in the, Pacific Northwest, we're used to a little bit of snow and sleet and rain and all that crap, but the temperature drop was significant for a lot of states. I heard it went up to it went down like 65 degrees in 24 hours somewhere out there. I guess it's negative 50 right now up in Montana. It looked on the map like glacier area, but I'm not sure. Point being, it's freaking cold out there. But the whole nation right now is under some sort of a winter watch, or most of it. And here in the Northwest, I was thinking about this. I'm personally excited about having any type of a white winter, although that's not going to happen here because it's supposed to, basically, it's been freezing for 2 days, and it's about 20 degrees right now as I'm walking my dog, and the entire ground is frozen. A little while ago it started raining little pellets, which is of course sleet. A lot of people don't realize the difference between sleet and freezing rain, but sleet is when rain drops fall through clouds, freeze, then hit the ground. And freezing rain is when rain falls, hits the ground, and then freezes. And this happens when there's a temperature inversion or some sort of a differential where the clouds are warmer, right? Doesn't matter. The point is, it's cold right now. Freaking cold here. And it's 20 degrees. It's probably even warmer, maybe like 25 degrees because it's not, that late at night yet. But thinking about negative 50 out in Montana, man, that's crazy. Negative 50. I've never been in that before, and I can't even imagine how cold that would be. Like my hands right now, I have to switch my camera between them. But anyhow, I wanted to make the point that, of all the places in the nation that are getting blasted with snow right now, I just want to say, be fucking grateful that all you're getting is snow, because when it snows, you can still get around. I went out on a drive today and there was de-icer everywhere. Like, they've done a good job spraying de-icer as a preventative measure on all the main arteries here in my town. And that's because it's 100% chance of ice, and they're saying it could be between a 1/4 inch and a 1/2 inch thick. So I don't know if you've ever driven on 1/2 inch thick ice, but I have definitely, we've had that here, and I think it was the last time I took out my ice skates, and I had a great old time ice skating around on it, or at least learning how. And I bought this old pair of ice skates probably 20 years ago or something, and I just carried them around. My wife's always like, why don't you just get rid of those? You've never used them. I'm like, no, honey, after the apocalypse on the new ice age, I'll be out there marching around in my ice skates and collecting supplies. I'm only half joking. But I'm out here running with Lucy, if any of you remember Lucy, the dog. Probably can't see her because it's not very bright, but we're coming up on lights here. And I'm at my son's school right now. And as I'm walking along the concrete, the path, my feet are already completely sliding around. That's what I wanted to say is the big difference between I'm gonna sit down here for a minute and get warm. I have my phone on a tripod, so I'm just setting it down here. So that's the big difference when you've got rain falling, or that's freezing when it hits, or any type of ice balls. It's so much worse than you can imagine when it comes to driving on it. You're basically screwed. You see these big tough dudes who think, I could just drive my badass 4x4 truck. They get out there with their huge tires and just slide into a pole. There's just, nobody is able to really defeat the powers of Mother Nature when it comes to freezing rain. So when I saw that it was sleeting outside, and I decided to take Lucy for a walk now because it's supposed to last all through tomorrow, and then by the next day melt off, which is Christmas Eve, which is great. Then we can still travel. But the rest of the nation's still going to be in a cold grip for probably a long time. Oh wow, I left my beer outside and it got too cold. I got to bring it in so it doesn't blow up. Yeah. It's pretty cold, I'll just say that. And for all you out there who live in places where you might, unfortunately here in the Northwest this morning we had very high winds of 40 or 50 miles an hour, in some places that knocked down trees, which took out power lines. And thousands of customers right now in Portland are without power. And those customers are the same ones that are going to have to deal with, waiting out not just the cold spell, but the, freezing rain, not being able to go anywhere to get anything. When, let's just say about 10 years ago, maybe less, we had this huge blue spruce tree in my backyard that I used to do videos next to. I play guitar by it and stuff, and I'd make YouTube videos. And it's funny because a lot of my old subscribers might remember it. What happened was there was a cold spell where it got down to like 0, and it was cold for a long period of time, like a couple weeks. And I'm gonna start walking again. Halfway between this cold spell, there was a huge windstorm. It was like the perfect storm, if you will. And this windstorm knocked down my blue spruce, crashed through. It only destroyed a little bit of the fence. I was able to actually repair that. And between my neighbors in the house and I, crashed into their apple tree. And so I had my buddy Joel come over, Traveler. He's been on YouTube with me before, actually. And we proceeded to cut the tree up into pieces, or he did for me. He did a great job. Lucy, come here. And sorry about the sniffles, man. Whenever it's really, really cold, my nose gets all congested, and yeah. So that tree now is just laying down sideways. I took the bigger chunks and we burned it and set it aside, but most of it's like a big bench, and we built kind of a fire pit there. But there was a point to that. Damn it. I sat here and told you a story about a blue spruce, and I didn't even get to the point. It had to do with the weather because of that ice storm. Oh yeah, it knocked, when that tree fell over, it didn't just fall on the fence. It knocked out power to my house by ripping the main power line in half and completely tearing out the mast. The mast is the part that goes into your roof where your power line goes in, down that pipe. The whole mast got ripped out. And so I said, all right, what am I going to do? How am I going to fix this? And I had to repair it myself, but I wasn't able to do it because I couldn't get the parts because everything was iced over and it was horrible. So my family and I proceeded to stay inside for like a week, basically just burning firewood, and it really gave me this appreciation for having a fireplace. And actually I would be much better off if I had like an insert, but I'm just putting this out there to everybody. You should always have a backup power plant. I don't care how reliable you think your system is, even if you have generators. You should always have what I would call a analog heating system, which is just a simple place in your home to light fires where you can stay warm when the shit hits the fan, because man, it sucks to be cold. And at least that week my family and I could sit in front of the fireplace, play games, and actually it was one of the greatest times ever because we didn't have a bunch of distractions. The internet, video games, all that shit. It was, the power was out for a while, so all our devices died, and there was no internet. So just kind of a side note on that I secretly dream of a solar flare or some kind of a disaster to bring people closer together, although I know it would also destroy commerce, and basically a lot of people would suffer, and I don't want that either. So here we are trapped in a conundrum of our own making, relying on technology and society, and now we're all cold. I'm getting snowed on and sleeted on, and I'll talk to you all next time. Thanks for coming along with my rambles. Carpo After Dark for December 22nd, 2022. I'm out, and happy solstice to you all, which was yesterday, but hey, better late than never. Bye-bye now.